All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday live class on data analytics. And we will be continuing from where we stopped in our last class. We looked at that and how it helped us to calculate columns, additional columns, right? As well as um, calculate our measures to use for our visualization. So a little bit of what we had discussed in our previous classes. Let's look at some important charts and see and talk a little bit about them, what they are used for. So now we have the area chart. Okay. Now, the area chart, like we described in our previous class, is based on the line chart and an area with an area under the line chart. And I think that's that is why it's called the area chart. Then we have the bar and column chart. We have the stacked bar chart. We have the stacked column chart. We also have the clustered bar chart and the clustered column chart. Okay. Now, the bar charts are basically standards for looking at specific values. Okay. Then we also have the cards. We have the multi-row cards. Okay. And the multi-row cards display one or more data points, right, per row. The card just displays single number, while this multi-row card display multiple data points. So we have the combo charts here. You can see the line and stack column chart. This is a combo chart. We also have the line and clustered column charts. The combo chart is just a combination of charts. It combines a column chart and a line chart. For instance, in this case, this combines a line chart and a stack column chart, and this combines a line and a clustered column chart. Okay, so we also have the decomposition tree here. The decomposition tree allows us to visualize data across multiple dimensions. So basically, it's usually used for root cause analysis. Basically, it just tells you that we have a summary of these, but these are the contributory factors that lets us have this summary that we see. Okay. Then we have the donut chart. The donut charts and the pie chart are similar. Okay. These charts, that is the pie chart as well as the donut chart, shows a relationship or relationship between the parts in a whole. Okay. So that is just a little bit of reminder of the charts we talked about. We also have the funnel chart here. Yeah, this is a funnel chart. The funnel chart allows us visualize a process that basically have stages. Okay. So we are going to use some of these charts today to work on our sales performance dashboard. But after this class, you already have this file. So after this class, you'll be expected to create your own dashboard, right? The reason why this is necessary is so that you'll be able to lay your hands. You'll be able to actually practice on how to do this. So we will be looking at how to insert this chart, utilize the data we have, the calculated columns the columns we calculated in last class, as well as the measures, to come up with some level of dashboard and make the dashboard dynamic so that we'll be able to have a good report. So now a look at our data. let's come to our table view. A look at our data. We have product category. So if we want to look at sales performance now, we definitely will look at the product. We want to know how product performed over a period of time, right? And I think that makes a whole lot of sense, okay? We would like to also know the region with the highest sales. We will also want to see the influence of the sales channel on the sales. We might also want to do a pie chart, use a pie chart or a donut chart to look at the influence of promotion on sales. Then we all want to see how the different age groups as well as gender, basically to look at our demography, our user demography, we can look at that as well. So with that in mind, we can now go ahead and begin to see how we can work on our visualization, our reports. So first on the list, let's just pick a funnel. We talked about a funnel chart. So to pick a chart, you can just click on the chart and it comes to your canvas. So now we talked about region, right? We want to see the influence of the region on sales. And we had already calculated a column called total revenue. Okay. Total revenue, we have a column, say called total revenue that we calculated. So what we can do now is that we want to pick region, right, to the category as a category label, right? And then take total revenue to the values. So with these, we can see the contribution, right? Let me expand this and you see, well, we can just have it as little as. We can see the contribution of regions. So from here, we can definitely say in the total data that we have, we can definitely say Ibadan had the total, the highest contribution, right, to this, to sales. Again, there is another, I want to try so that we begin to look at how we can basically use our charts to gain insights. We have just one chart, one visualization, one visual rather. So we can also pick a slicer, which is also, sorry about that. We can pick a slicer, which is also a visual here in Power BI. We pick a slicer. I want to pick EA into this slicer so that we can basically, so we have EA here. I want to pick EA as this slide for this slicer so that we can basically see the performance of the different regions in different years. Okay. So you can see as we slice across, you can see in 2020 and in 2024. All right. So you basically can see that we can clear our selection here and take this out for now. So we have done this now. We want to also basically know, like I said, we are showing you this. We want you to be creative about your own dashboards, and we would like you to submit your dashboard before the next class. So we want you to be creative. You talk about what you are comparing, then you compare it and let us see. So remember, we also talked about a pie chart. And say in a pie chart, right, we compare parts of a whole. We basically see the relationship between parts of the whole, right? So remember, we have different age groups, right? We have age groups. Let's look at that. Okay, customer age. Okay. So we are putting a customer age group in the legend area. So we want to have our values now. So we want to see how it contributes to our total revenue. Okay, so we can basically see from here, let me expand for your viewing. We can basically see from here how the various age groups contributed to our total revenue. Okay, so we can use donut for gender. We want to also see the contribution of gender to our total revenue. Okay, so we can pick gender now, customer gender, right? Our customer gender here. Then we want to see, compare with our total revenue as well. So we basically, let me expand again just for your viewing. We basically can see, hello, can you see what I'm sharing, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, I can.
Oh, all right. So we basically can see the contribution of the different genders, and we can conclude that for as far as total sales go, we basically can conclude that we have more male customers than the female customers. Okay, so again, what we found here in our table view, we talked about products, right? So let's do something about product. We want to use a stacked column chart, right? To basically see the performance of products. Let's see, we have a product name. Let's see how we have it here. Product category, rather. Product category. Product category. Okay. And our total revenue. So looking at the general product category and the total revenue, we can basically see the performance here. Okay. So now you can have several pages depending on how you want your comparison to go. I would not recommend that you stack your reports, your charts in your report, because if they are not, if they are too little, too tiny, then there is no need for the visuals. It doesn't make it great in any way. So give them room to breathe, right? So that you basically can understand, those you communicate with can understand. And you can see that when you move them, you can see that it helps you also to align within your board. So you can basically have several pages. To create a new page, just to click the plus and you have a new page to create your visuals. You can basically have those, okay? And I covered in one of I think one of our training materials how can create paginations where you create buttons to move from one page to another in your reports. So now that we have this, what do we do next? We basically, let me show us a little bit about, let's talk a little bit about how we can actually adjust this, although I've talked about it before, but let's look at that. When you're working on your visuals, you see that by default, you have total revenue by customer. Basically, what you are comparing, you basically have them, okay, to look at your comparison. But when you are creating a dashboard, you want it to be beautiful as well as communicate insight. So you want to be able to have your own labels, right? So you can do this. You can either adjust, basically rewrite these labels, or remove them and use different methods in entering the labels. Let's work with this total revenue by customer gender and see. So now this visualization pane basically have three sections. You have the view visual, you have the add further analysis to your visuals, then you have the format visuals. The format visuals also have two tabs, the visual tab and the general tab. On the visual tab, we can put off this legend if you don't want the legend, but if you want to use some kind of key for your legend to say blue male, this blue as male or however. So, but if you want to leave it at the default, you leave it on, okay? Now, you see that on this visual, you're talking about the formatting the visuals of your chart. So you have the legend, right? You have the slices. These are the slices, right? You have the slices. So you can basically work on the colors of your slices, because if you expand these slices, you can look at the colors. You can change them if you're not big on these colors, the default colors. If you have a specific theme, right, you can basically change them. I'm sure you have seen what happened when I click on each slide. Clicking on each slide basically just shows us the contribution of that very slide to the entire dashboard. For instance, you know that, look at our customer age group here. This customer age group is comprised of both male and female, right? It's comprised of both male and female. So when I want to see the contribution of male, I can basically see how male contributes to the to our revenue. You can see here our male population, showing that our male population are actually the highest number of population, right? Contributors rather to our sales. When we do that for the female folks, you see that in some regions, like Port Harcourt region, we basically almost had nothing, right? As far as it's not up to 1 million, because we're showing it's not up to that. So Port Harcourt, Benin City, and Abuja. So, right, you can see here the total revenue per product. You can basically conclude that, for instance, female purchase lower tea and coffee than you have for males. You see, for males, it was carbonated drinks, right? But for females, it was tea and coffee. So basically, that's how another way that you can actually communicate your findings. So we're talking about the slices here. These slices, because this is for donut. If I come to the pie chart, we also have the slices. Okay, you click on the slices, you see the different colors of the slices and the for the uh legends as well. Okay, so but when we come here, you can watch this now. When we come to this bar, we don't have. Let's go to the bar now. Right? We wouldn't have slices anymore. Okay. You see what we have? We have the x-axis, and you can see the color of the x-axis. We have the y-axis. Then we have the grid lines if you want to remove grid lines or add grid lines. Basically, then in replacement of the slices that we had earlier, what we have here are bars. They are not slices. So you basically see your columns rather, because it's a stacked column chart. So basically see the color of your column. So if you want to change this color of your column to something else, you can basically do so, as you can see here. Okay, so I think let's take it back to default. All right. So another thing again is that you can basically see the contribution just by clicking of each performance really of each product as you click along. Okay. So, but let's go on now to look at the general. Let's start from here. Okay. So let us start from our total revenue by customer. So we go to our format visuals. We basically don't want to remove the details. If we put up the details, these are the details, right? I really want those details. I like them because it allows me to just easily communicate what I need. So again, in the general tab, that is when you can either put off your title, right? You can see this is your title. What you had here was a title. You can put it off, right? If you want to put it off, that is to say that you have to add it somehow, either under or at the top. If you want to leave it on, you can basically edit it. instead of say total revenue, you can just say, we know that we are working with total revenue here. We are working with total revenue. But because we are working with total revenue, we can't be saying total revenue by total revenue by. I just know that here on this page, I can rename this page to be product performance by revenue. Okay. Product performance by revenue. I can just have this that way so that I know that in this page, I'm talking about contribution to revenue, right? We can have another page talking about sales. Okay. So if that is the case, I can just remove total revenue, right? And just have gender instead of customer gender. Definitely it's customer gender. I can just have gender. You see, I have gender. But I can do more than that, right? Hello, guys. Are you following?
I'm following.
Okay, I hope I'm not too fast.
To me, no.
All right. Miss Fine Rose, what are you?
No, sir, you're not fast.
Oh, okay. All right. So now we can do just more than just editing the name. Okay. We can change the size, the font size, the font. We can make it bold, right? Okay. We can change the color. Basically, if we have a team we are working with, we can change the color as you have it here. We can centralize it. We can make it right aligned. Whatever you want, basically. You can add a subtitle if you like. Like if I put on the subtitle, you can see the subtitle here, right? This is the subtitle because it was off. So if you feel you want a subtitle so that it will remind you of what you need to say, you can leave the subtitle on. If not, you put it off. But if it's on, remember you can still also do the same thing. You can centralize it so that it looks like the order. You can italicize it so that people can easily understand that gender is for total revenue by customer gender. Or you can also edit it to just show that it's gender by what? Gender for total revenue. Okay, you can have it that way. Okay. All right. So the divider here, what divides our title and the subtitle from the chart? If you want it this way, maybe you want your chart to look this way, you basically can use the divider. If not, let's go back to title. Under title, we have this. If not, you can put off the divider. If you want to have some level of spacing, you can adjust them, right? You can adjust the spacing between them. If not, you can also increase the spacing, okay? Well, anyone that works for you, okay? I like mine quite close. You know, when you write a title and a subtitle, you want it to be a little bit close, okay? So let's do the same thing for our column chart. So we click on the chart, we head to format visuals. So go to general, because general, we're basically under general, we'll be talking about the titles and everything here around it. But if we go to visuals, we are talking about the visuals of the charts. When the general, we can look at the title, the subtitle, the divider, the spacing. Then we can then begin to work on the effects if you like. Okay, but now on the title, we want to adjust the title just like we did this. We want to just have product category, okay? So we have product category. We want to make product category bold and change the product category color to the blue we have been using, then centralize it, okay? So that it basically looks like what we have done before. Then we go to the subtitle. We put on the subtitle. we want to say yes to say, I'll leave just total revenue on the subtitle. We want to italicize it, then put it at the center. Then we go to spacing to reduce our spacing to 3 pixels, right? Just as we did in the first one. So, yep, we basically have it as we have done this gender. So let us come here to this again and do that. So we want to the title. I think customer age, the age should be okay. Age should be fine. Bold, change color. Centralize. Put on our subtitle. Edit our subtitle to total revenue. Italicize it. Centralize it. Then let's change our spacing to 3 pixels. Okay. Now I want to work on something let me show you something too. You see that on this chart, you see that our customer age group here, our customer age group is, it kind of takes a whole lot of space. If we could adjust this title here on the legend, right? If we could adjust this title on the legend, you see that this whole space will really reduce the space it takes. So now the legend is on the visual, right? Because like I said, the slices, the legend, these details on the slices, the level of rotation, they are all on the visuals, whatever is on the visual here. So to adjust this legend, to adjust our legend, you have to come to the visual tab of the format visuals. So click on the arrow to bring it down, right? Then you can see that this is the title, right? That is the title of the legend. So if you feel that there's no need for this title, the customer age group, you take it off. If you really can remember that this is the customer age group, which I think you shouldn't have any problem with because you know that is a legend and you know you are talking about age group so that you don't have age group here and age group here. So we basically can take this off this way. Okay. So that is for that. So let's work with this. Okay. So now on this chart, we can basically do the same thing. We want to come to our general. We want to use region, just region, and remove total revenue by. Let's just have region. Let's make it bold, change the color to the color we use, centralize it, right? And we can put on the subtitle as well, just for the sake of this class. Let's have total revenue, italicize it, centralize it. So we have something like this. I believe if you look at this now, is way better than what we had before. It looks kind of good. Okay. You can also work on the axis label. You see, on the axis label, you have total revenue here, you have product category here. If you feel you don't want this axis label, you can also deal with them. Okay, you can also work on them. We have the x-axis here, right? You can see the title of the x-axis. When I take it off, the title goes away. Okay, you put it on, it's here. Okay, then we can definitely go to the y-axis. If you want to take out the total revenue of the y-axis, if you definitely know that this is total revenue anyway, if you know that, if you want it that way, you can basically just take it off as well. We are not talking about the range here. It's the title. We can take off the title as well. So that title goes away. That is if that is if that is what you want. Okay. You can see that these values also can go off, but I don't recommend that going off because it's quite tricky, except you basically can add labels here. Okay. So we have this customer gender here as well. I think we didn't deal with that. So we click on this donut chart. Let us go to our legend and just say put of the title. So we just have male and female. So we know that that is what we are talking about. So we also have some comparison to still do as well. We have, if we look at it, I think we have sales channel. Have we worked on sales channel? Okay, we've not worked on sales channel. We have sales channel. We want to see the revenue by sales channel. Okay, and we can definitely use. We can still use a pie chart to represent that sales channel because we have kind of several sales channel. We want to see the percentage, the contribution to the whole using sales channel as the relationship. Let's then look at our total revenue. So we can basically see the performance of different sales channel, right? Okay. So we can go about editing, changing this as we had changed before. Okay. So then we have let's see sales over the years. So we have year, yeah. We also have or let's leave that. We'll use year as our slicer. So I'll just use year as our slicer to slice through various and to see the performance of the various products over the years. So now we have promotion. Let's see how promotion contributed to revenue. You see, we have not used any card yet. We are going to incorporate with card so that because the measures we calculated we calculated I think total sales revenue, gross margin, and so on. So we will use cards for that. Okay. So now let's see our promotion. Let's take a chart on that promotion. What do we use for that? Okay, I think let me just use this for the concept of it. We are looking at total revenue. We want to analyze total revenue by promotion. Okay. Explain by promotion. Okay. I think this doesn't really, excuse me. So this wouldn't do it for us. So let's just use let me use this. Okay. So let's say where's our promotion? Promotion by total revenue. So we can see that we can basically still change this chart type to maybe a donut because a donut will easily just tell us the contribution here of the different kinds of promotion. Okay. So to adjust this, we can basically adjust it as we adjusted these other ones. Okay. So for the sake, I'm just showing us different charts, how it looks, and so on. So to allow your creative process, we've talked a lot about dashboards. We've designed the dashboard in Microsoft Excel. I think we've done one here as well. So we basically, I want to show us how we transform data, use the transform data as use the transform data to now work on your dashboards. And I really like us, before we even get to our project, I'd like us to do this assignment and return the assignment so that I can actually correct you and then work better with you to see how we actually work on a dashboard effectively. Because actually there's no template to a dashboard, right? It depends on what you want to communicate, how you want to communicate it, who you are communicating it to, right? And what your data represents, basically. So that is what matters. But let me go to another page so that the second page created. So we just basically add cards so that you see what we mean here. Okay. So these are cards. This is a card. And a card is best for our what's it called, for our measures, right? You can add several cards, or you can add multi-row cards as you want. Okay, so we have gross margins. We also calculated total sales revenue. So over the years, we have a total of 8 million. I'll show us how to work on these and the representation, but let's go ahead and add the measures that we created. Okay, so, okay, I think that's what we created. So we'll find a way to make sure that we can have them in this dashboard as one dashboard. But let's work on them so that you see. Remember, you can basically easily just format your visualizations by clicking on them to highlight them. Then you come to format the visualization pane and the format visual. So in the visuals here, we have two visuals, the call out value and the category label, right? On the general, we have the basic properties we have to work on. Remember, we don't have the title here. If you put on the title, you see, we don't have the title here. So on the visuals, let's work on the visuals, the call out value first. So our call out value is the 177 million, the 8 million, and so on. So you can definitely change the color of your call out value, the text, the size of the call out value, make it bold, italicize it, or even underline it if you like. Okay, you can change the color. The display unit, you can pick several display units based on what it is, or you can leave it at auto. Okay, auto basically calculates it as what it is. So this is 1.77 million, right? So if you say you want it on in thousands, it's not going to reflect the correct one. So you just leave it at auto. Okay, now that is for the call out value. I think we'll just go ahead, change the color so that it kind of makes sense to us, make it bold and so on. So we have the category label. The category label is what we have under, what we had under it as sum of gross sales. Okay. Now, because we cannot really go ahead and kind of work on the category label, that is apart from changing the color and so on and so forth, you can put it off, right? Then go to general and put on the title, and let's call the title, that is gross sales, right? So we can call it gross sales. You can do this, okay? Coming. You can do this, or you can basically do this, have it as gross sales, or present it as something else. Basically, let me give you kind of an idea. Okay, so let me put off this title. So we know that this is gross sales, right? So what I'll basically do is to basically insert another visual, like a text box, right? I want to insert a text box. And in this text box, I want to write my gross sales, okay? So here now, I can change the color of the font in the text box. Okay, sorry, let me highlight, change the color, change the font type if you like, increase the size, okay, make it bold. So you see we have that. I can adjust this to size, okay? Then centralize it so that it looks great. Sorry. Move it under here so that I know that that is gross sales, okay? Then I can basically just put them together and move them anywhere I want them to be. So we have this. So you can basically do that as well. Just something that will make your dashboard look kind of cool, right? Okay. So you can basically do the same thing for this. So it's basically the same thing, right? Our call out value, we can work out on our call out value, make it bold, change our color, right? So our display unit is still on auto. Okay. Then we can put off our category label because, okay, our category label was sales revenue. We can then just, I think, duplicate this. Okay. So then, so that we can do it, or we can just add a new one, say sales revenue. Adjust it. I think we used 24. Sorry, highlight it, 24. Bold it, change the color to the blue we're using. Okay, I think that should be less than 24. 20. Centralize it. Hello, are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So adjust it to size. Okay. So we have this now. All right. So you can basically work on your cards like this, something to kind of make it cool so that you can communicate effectively. Okay. So now if we can just adjust this so that we can have uh everything here. But I want you to know that these charts are not small as you have them. They don't look that they are not as tiny as you see them. Because if you take them out from here, they are quite large, and you don't make them too small or just too large. You don't cramp your space with numerous numbers of charts. Okay? So let's adjust what we have here. Okay. Then I think we have to edit this to give us space. Let's give space here. Let's work on our legend, take out our legend title. I think the sales channel will be good. Take out our legend title. Then go to general, edit our title, make it sales channel. Right. Sales channel white, and color of our title was this. Was it bold? Yes, it was bold. Then centralized. Okay. Then we kind of worked on our spacing. I think we had a subtitle. Let's work with that subtitle and say total revenue, just for the sake of the class. Italicize it and centralize it as well. So let's adjust it and move it this way. So the same for this. Okay, put of the title. Then this will be promotion. Bold, make it blue. Okay, on the subtitle. Subtitle, we are using total revenue. Italicize, centralize it. We are centralizing this as well. Okay. Then we need to go to the spacing and reduce our spacing marginally. Okay. We can adjust this now. Another thing about the designs. Okay, let's take our cards here. You can just drag across to highlight, click, hold, and drag to highlight both visuals. So what I did, I just clicked, hold, drag, and Control X to cut, and Control V to paste. So I cut and I paste, but I can move this here now. Okay, so let me adjust this visual, which is way above this. Okay. So if you notice the visuals, they have kind of background color, right? You see, if I take it over this, it covers it. So you can also work on that. You can also remove the background. You can say no background. Let me see. This is the background of this. So we can say no background by putting off the background. So now when I move it, you can see it doesn't block anything again. So maybe if you're working on your space, kind of you are managing your space, you want to manage it efficiently and you don't want any issues. So you can just basically do that. You can remove the backgrounds so that you don't have any background issue. What I did is that click on your visual, go to your general, under effects, you see background. You can change your background color to anything basically that you like if you're working on those kind of colors. Well, I basically like to maintain everything white because we have too many colors already. So what you can put off the background so that it doesn't see. If I place it here, it doesn't cover this this label. So sorry. So now we can easily, another thing you can do again is that you can add shadows to them so that they basically stand unique if you want to do that. You click on them, come to your format visuals, under general, under effect, you are going to see shadows. If you want to put on the shadows, put on the shadows. You can work on the different parts of the shadows. You want it outside, you want it inside. This is how the inside shadow looks like. For I always use the outside. If I must use a shadow, so you put on the shadow. Let's a shadow, right? Look at it here, the shadow. Let's make it outside shadow as it is. Then you can basically look at the position of the shadow. Do you want it at the bottom right, on the top? Do you want it a center shadow? This is how a center shadow looks like. Just centralizes it this way. If you don't want that, you can basically select a different kind of shadow position that you like. You have bottom right, bottom left. This is the bottom shadow. If you want the bottom shadow, anyone you want, basically. So let's go ahead and basically give them the same kind of shadows so that you see how they're basically kind of look like. I think this shadow should be, I think they should all be bottom now. Okay. Okay. See that you have to give space between them so that they look nice. So let's do this as well. In general, we go to effects. We then put on the shadow, expand shadow. We want to put the shadow at the bottom. So we can adjust this chart so that it looks have the same height. Okay. So you see that we have equal space around them. We do the same for this. General, effects, put on shadow, expand the shadow. Remember, you can change the color of the shadow, but I just like to leave it that way. So we want the shadow to be this. Okay, let me do the same for this so that general effects, on shadow, bottom. So I'll just when I'm done, shadow, bottom. You can, okay, so let's adjust this way. Make it tall. Okay, so basically let's make it align. Just for visual sake. Okay. All right. So are you there? Can you guys see what I'm doing?
Yes, I can see it.
All right. So now we basically have something that looks more beautiful than what we had. It can still, you basically can still see that you can still pass the information you want. So on these cards right now, right? On these cards and this, we want to make sure that we can use a different element. We don't want to give space, kind of shadow. So we can do something by just inserting a shape, right? Let's just insert the shape because they are all. So we insert the shape. I can take it over, right? Just to put it down. I can basically still take this shape under. You know that as we put the shape on this, definitely it will cover what we had before. Okay. So we have to really put the shape, okay, under so this is our color, so we can maintain the shape color. Then the line, if you don't want a line on your shape, you can put it off, is the border, okay, if you don't want it. If you want to ever write text on your box, you put it on so that you can write the text instead of using a text box. You can do that. If you want a shadow, you can put it on just as we had shadow earlier on this other as we had in other visuals. Okay, let's go to effect, background, visual shadow. Okay, sorry, shadows, bottom. Okay. So on the shape, say you enter the rectangle shape and you want to adjust the corners, you can just adjust the corners this way. If you ever want to adjust the corners, okay. The rotation style. Let me see. Rotation. Okay, properties, we have the size, we have the position. Record. So now that we have adjusted what we want to adjust, we need to actually send this backward, right? We need to send it behind what we had there so that all what we had will just be on top of this. So to do that, we'll click and just go to the format. We have formatted visuals here. This is formatting visual, but we need to go to format now to align, right? To align them. So to do that, I need to send this backward, right? So I have to send it backward. So, or let me just send to back basically so that I have everything here. So now you see that our gross sales, this text box we have here, have kind of a background color, okay? And the background color is white, right? So, and our text, our cards are supposed to be white to show on this blue background. So we can just make the call out values for this to be white so that it can basically show better on our blue background. Then background off. Then make the text white here too. I've taken the background to this text. So I can basically make the text white instead of the blue we had it. Okay. So let me adjust this upward a little bit. So let's put off this background to this visual. And make the text white. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's adjust it. So I can highlight all of them by just click and drag, then go to format here so that I align them center so that they will be aligned appropriately. Now they are aligned appropriately. So we need the last visual. We need the last visual here. So remember to always say we need the last visual. The last visual here that will be of great benefit to us will be our slicer. So to insert the last visual, we want to also have something like a background, basically. So we will duplicate this one. So I highlighted and say Control C and V. Control C to copy, Control V to paste. So that I can have and adjusted it here so that we'll have our slicer here. Okay. So our slicer is also a visual, right? And we want to pick, let's see if we can just pick. We can have slicers like yay. Okay. We can have our yay. Adjust it. Take it up here. You can see that our slicer is kind of a default slicer, right? So we can definitely work on our slicer to match our design. And what we need to do now is to ensure that we come highlighted, right? Click on it to highlight it. We'll come to our slicer setting. So our slicer setting, will it be a vertical list? This is the vertical list where we can pick. Will it be a drop down? The drop down is where you click and you basically have a drop down, right? These are the drop downs. Should it be less than or equal to or greater than a particular number of year? Should it be a tile? This is a tile, this is the tile. Okay. So anyone basically based on what you want to do, anyone you want. So in this one, anyone we select will get the report for the year. This is how it works. If we use a tile as well, that is how it's going to be. If we use a tile now, we can basically click on each tile and get our reports. Okay, so let's basically work with a tile. Let's basically work with a tile. You can use a drop down, but whenever you use a drop down, make sure that where it's how it's dropping, it doesn't affect any of your visuals. Okay. So basically, let's work on the color right now. We want to take out if you like, you can take off the slicer heading, which is the year. If you like, you can do that. Okay, so let me just do that for context because that is what we've been doing. Then on the effect, we want to put off our background so we don't have a background. Okay. We don't need a shadow because we don't have a background. Okay. We don't have a background, so we can basically just leave it like that. So our effect is there. So our property, the property, we can easily just position right by adjusting it on the site and so on. That is the what this talks about. Okay. So let's go to the visuals. On the values now, you see the colors of the values. If you want to change the colors of the values, you can also change the colors of the values there. Then the values, the colors of the values, the background on the colors of the values. That is what this is. Remember, we have background under effects. It's different from the background under visuals. This background under visual is talking about these visuals, this background here. So if we pick a white color, this is what we have, okay, on the background. If you say you don't want a background, for instance, if you say you don't want a background, you say no background, it's going to put off this background and your text is supposed to be white. This values text must or contrast. So we can also increase the size of the text, okay? You can make them bold to be sharper, okay? All right. So now at least we know the ones you select when you're selecting them, okay? So now we have this. If for any reason you have several, several pages, say like we have page 1, page 2, let's say you had several reports in several pages. What you do now is to insert buttons, and in the buttons, you want to talk about whether you want to go back, you want to go forward, you want to add navigators, that is page navigators. The page navigators now will take you across the different pages, right? The different pages that you have. You see that the name of this very page is Product Performance by Review. So if you change this name of page 2, you definitely will have that name that way. So you can also work on this to basically align the layouts of your the layout rather of your button so that it doesn't cross any of your visuals. Okay, you can work on that too. Okay, so we have vertical, we have horizontal, we have grid. Okay, so let's leave it on horizontal here. Say if you want to go to page 2, you click on it, it will take you to page 2. If you click on page 2 now, it should take us to page 2. The performance will take us to our performance. But you can also definitely just use the buttons, right? Use the buttons of left, right, reset, back, information. Basically, you can use this button. You can use the black button and connect. Okay, so this is what we have. Let me delete this so that we do some adjustment here and give our dashboard a title. Let me take this down here. Okay. Or leave it here because of okay. So let me duplicate this. Okay. So we can basically just add a text sales performance dashboard. So are you there? Do you have any questions?
No question, sir.
Pardon?
No question, sir.
No questions, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're saying that everything is clear, right?
But to me, it's clear, and I know when I watch the video, I'm going to get what to do.
Okay, all right, okay. So in the absence of any question, we'll be calling it a day here. Then you have access to the class so that you will basically go through it again. The last thing, if you click, you'll see how we can slice through different dates to see the performance by sales channel, region, age group, product category, gender, as well as promotions. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So do have a wonderful week ahead.